Well, we're celebrating 30,000 subscribers on YouTube. Now, I know for some channels that's not even scratching the surface, but we all got to start somewhere. And so in this video, we're going to just celebrate 30,000 subscribers with going back to the very beginning of MadMatt 4Drive, and then we're going to just do a bit of a journey and celebrate some of the moments that have come along the way since April 2013. Here at MadMatt 4Drive, I'm all about educating and building the four-wheel drive community so we can wheel well. I'd love it if you'd hit that subscribe button and then hit the bell so you can get those notifications as well. Why did it take us so long to get to 30,000 subs? Well, there was a long period of time where we really did nothing with the YouTube channel. We just focused on Facebook, and that was really because I was working two jobs. I was working as a mechanical fitter slash boilermaker for quite a number of years whilst we just built the channel and built what we were doing. So it all started in April 2013 when Pete and Lauren, who are going to be part of this video, and Mrs. MadMatt and I had lunch together. We went out and we filmed our very first video, which was all about approach, departure, and ramp over angles. I look back on it now and there's a whole heap of cringe factor, but you've got to start somewhere. And so let's just have a watch of the very first time MadMatt appeared on camera. G'day, I'm MadMatt. Keep coming forward, keep coming, and stop. All right, so what we have here, if you imagine from here, through the front tyre, down through to the back tyre, that's the ground plane. Then imagine from this point down to the very bottom of the tyre, there's another line. Those two lines, where they intersect, that creates the angle for us. Okay, that is called our approach angle. I'm MadMatt, stay safe on the trail. So that was the very first video I ever presented, and I showed that video to a mate of mine, Mike Pritchard, who runs two very successful media businesses, and he was encouraging. He said, Matt, you've got a bit of a natural talent there. I really, really like it. Well, that meant so much to me, to be encouraged to build a business in my passion being four-wheel driving. But it was hard yards. You know, to get it started, I worked two jobs. I worked as a boilermaker and as a mechanical fitter, and that gave me the flexibility to go filming during the week and stuff like that. But it was the hard yards, working two jobs, trying to build a business. But, you know, I say that just to inspire you, because if you put in the yards, you can build a business yourself as well in the area that you're passionate about. But passion is the key. Anyway, let's hear from Pete and Lauren. These guys helped start MadMatt, and they deserve to be honoured, because without them, it simply would not have happened. So let's hear what they have to say.
Hey guys, congratulations on reaching 30,000 subscribers on YouTube. That is so cool.
I can't believe he's at 30,000 already. It's awesome. Do you remember, I was just thinking, like, going back to when we first met Matt.
Yeah.
We met him at Four Drive Club, and yeah, I just remember, like, I think he got up to do some announcements or something. And I just remember, like, the first time we saw him, it was just one of those things that it was just, we reckon that he's going to be great on camera. And at that time, we had only just started getting into videography, and we were only learning the ropes ourselves. What's one of your favourites?
Yeah, for me, I reckon probably the one where we went forward drive fishing, forward driving.
Now when we're down at the beach, we've got to be aware of other vehicles that are driving along the beach, because it's quite dangerous if they were to hit us, obviously. We also need to be aware that there's other things like our tides going on. So while you're down at the beach, enjoying the waves, throwing a line in, doing all this great stuff, you're safe. The tides in particular, high tide, low tide, you need to be aware of it. I'll come back and get the fish later on. So when you're out on the sand, four-wheel driving, keep in mind that the key is momentum and power. When you're going up a dune, go straight up a dune. When you're going down a dune, go straight down the dune. Keep that in mind, you'll stay safe. Well, I never thought of myself as much of a fisherman, but I reckon I've done all right today. All right, time to go home. So I'm MadMatt. Stay safe on the sand, won't you?
The other one I thought was really good was when he talks about learning how to check the depth of water.
He
and
does
when you're
like to
doing-
talk about the depth of the water.
And the best way to check it out is with a stick.
Now the best way to check it out is with a stick. In here we've got quite solid bottom, but on top of the bottom there's a whole heap of mud. Now here we go, we've got a big mound in the middle. You can see came up from there to there, so it's a bit deeper. What have we got over here? Crikey, that's a deep hole here. Very sloppy in the bottom. I'll show you what we got. Hey, look at all this stuff. What have we got over here? That's right. We'll get our footing here yet. Okay, it's still reasonably deep, but this side over here is actually starting to suggest to me this is a track we could go on, because it's a really solid bottom. There's a lot of traction there. There's not a lot of silt and stuff.
Anyway, we've had some pretty great times with him, and MadMatt, congratulations again on reaching such an awesome number of subscribers. It's so good, and what you guys are doing is just amazing. You are a huge influence in the four-wheel drive industry. Everyone we talk to knows who you are, and I know that number is just going to keep getting bigger and bigger. Keep doing what you're doing, and we're just excited to where you guys are going for the next however long. Keep it up, and stay safe on the trails.
So thanks so much, Peter and Lauren. Love you guys. You guys are very precious friends, and you'll always be part of the MadMatt journey. So, as you saw, I don't mind the mud. So let's watch this clip, which we did for Ironman 4x4 a number of years ago. So what we're going to do, shove that up in there, right in the hole, there she goes. Notice I've got a rated bow shackle on there, always use rated equipment. Right, there you go. That's how you hook up to the rear four-wheel drive. Make sure you do your recoveries safe. Just take the time to plan them out and do them right. I'm MadMatt. Stay safe on the trails. Righty-ho, let's go. Yeah, you know, what can I say? I don't mind having a bit of a laugh when the cameras are rolling. Now, this was an absolutely cracking moment we had recently. Peter came with us and he filmed this section here, which we were filming for Oricom radios, and well, I swallowed a fly. Well, right at the moment, I'm out in the country. You can tell that because of the flies. They're everywhere. But a lot of people don't really understand why. I swallowed that one. That didn't come back up. Oh, dear. Okay, here we go. Oh. One of my friends who came along on the journey for us, and he actually was the previous owner of the 105 series here, Aaron Carter. He's a really precious friend, and for a while there he was in between jobs, so he just came and started to do some presenting with us because he had time on his hands, and we actually had a really great dynamic on camera, and there's a part of me that would have loved to have been able to find a way where he could have co-presented a lot more content with us. But anyway, this is one of those funny little moments that Mrs. MadMatt caught on camera. I'm MadMatt.
I'm not.
Stay safe on the trails.
You put your thumb out too early.
I
and
know.
then you ruined it for me.
I know.
We practiced. We practiced. practiced, and you still broke it. Okay.
Now, there's been some absolutely amazing opportunities that have come along the way. One of them was to be part of making what we believe to be the world's first feature movie around four-wheel drives, and it was called Rough Stuff. And Jonathan Adams, who is now a friend of mine, and Jack Crombie, who as well, like these are people I've met through the industry that have become genuine friends of ours, you know, family friends. And making this movie was an absolute blast. I got to oversee all of the four-wheel driving in the movie, which is a huge amount of it. I got to do a lot of the driving in the movie, and I got to coordinate a lot of the stunt driving elements and the stunts that were in the movie. So I was very, very heavily involved in the creation of that movie. I even got a cameo appearance. Don't worry, I'm never going to be becoming any sort of actor, but last night, Mrs. MadMatt and I sat down and watched the movie again, and it was an absolute hoot. So anyway, you can get hold of that movie by going to, I think it's iTunes and Google Play and any of those streaming platforms. And it's just a great, fun watch. Don't take it too seriously. So back in the early days, I got a message, and it was from a guy called Milo. Well, Milo's become a very dear friend, and once you get to know Milo, that first email makes a whole heap of sense. But he seen some of my content and he got excited about it, and he just wrote me an email. Hey, MadMatt, love what you're doing there. How about these ideas? And so on. But further down the track, after we'd engaged a bit over email and that, he put out an ad for looking for someone to be a navigator in his Ultra 4 race car. Well, this was the opening to a whole new world for me. I'd never been exposed to high-speed off-road racing. Well, I fell in love with that whole space, and it's thanks to Milo, you know, that he opened that doorway for me. So as a result of that, I've navigated for him in a number of events. We've become really good friends. We've gone to King of the Hammers in the United States together. I've been to that race twice now. You've probably seen some of the content. You know, we've used his race car and him in creating some of our commercial content, which was a short movie we created for Terrain Tamer 4-wheel drive called Fast Parts. And that's probably the proudest piece of content I've created here at MadMatt 4-wheel drive. Let's have a watch of a little bit where Milo features. So when I was at King of the Hammers this last February, I met a guy called Matt. So he runs the MadMatt 4-wheel drive franchise in the United States. Well, anyway, that's the joke. But the cool part is he has a vehicle called Hell's Bells. This was one wild Ultra 4 running 54s, over 1,000 horsepower of in the motor and all that. But we did an interview with Matt. We became friends. We just had an absolute ball. Watch a little bit of this footage. Now, after King of the Hammers was over, Mrs. MadMatt flew over to the United States, and she and I had a bit of a holiday, a working holiday, and we went and toured some of the great sites in the US. We went to Moab in our Hyundai, which was very frustrating, might I say. But we also went down to Hurricane, which is in Utah. And there's two new friends of ours. Geez, I've got lots of friends around the world. It's awesome. The YouTubers over there. Now, one of them, well, both of them I reckon you'll know because you'll have seen them on our channels. One of them runs a channel called Casey's Off-Road, and we stayed with Casey and Beck and in their house for a number of days, and we went wheeling with them and we built a friendship with those guys and just got to create some content with them, and really genuine, down-to-earth American family. Love those guys to bits. And we also hung out with Matt from Matt's Off-Road, and you know, we just chilled out with him and Jamie, and that's his wife, and you know, and just went on some trips with them and did some content with those guys and built friendships there. I think for me, that's probably the real lovely part about what we do here at MadMatt 4-Wheel Drive is we're all about educating and building the 4-wheel drive community. You know, I say that in the front of all of my videos, but genuinely that's the most important part, is the building relationships, building the community, building friendships. I absolutely love people. You know, 4-wheel driving is really just a vehicle that allows me to connect with people and build relationships that matter. And that's so that's what happened over there. We had an absolute ball, and out of that, you know, we now regularly personally message each other, and we're planning to go back there and do some more content with those guys because what they're doing is just great, and you know, it's just a relationship, it's just friendship, and that's so cool. So in 2019, a friend of mine, Dave Evans, invited me to navigate for him at the Cliffhanger 4-Wheel Drive event. Well, that was an absolute disaster because I fell in love with the event and the whole concept of owning a race car. So I bought that vehicle off Dave, and I've turned it into the MadMatt race car. Well, what fun this is turning out to be, and I can't wait to actually get out there on a hardcore racetrack and really get into it. And that'll be happening at the Cliffhanger 4-Wheel Drive event in April 21. And I wanted to get into the racing partly for the fun of it, but also to inspire people that instead of letting out the anger on the trails where it's inappropriate, let it out on the racetrack. And you know, you can go racing in so many different forms, off-road racing that is, for a relatively cheap budget. Now, while we were over in the US, you cannot go anywhere near Salt Lake City and not go and visit the Land Cruiser Museum. So we did exactly that, except I made one big mistake. I only allowed for half a day. So I spent that half day filming, not wandering around reading it all and boring Mrs. MadMatt to tears. That is an amazing museum, and it gets better every year. They're always adding new vehicles to it. So that was an absolute highlight of my trip. I will be going back, Dan. I will be coming back to see you because you promised that we were going to go wheeling in your Land Cruisers together. Now, if you're enjoying any of these video excerpts that we're showing you, they're all going to be linked down below in the description. Well, there's a little bit of a look back over MadMatt 4-Wheel Drive, where we've come from and where we are today. What an absolute hoot, what a blast it is. But you know what, I count it as an absolute privilege to be able to generate our income through the 4-wheel drive community, and I don't take it lightly, and I certainly, I'm humbled that you guys would even consider listening to anything I've got to say and subscribing and following what I do on social media. It's truly a privilege, and I say thank you so much for just being part of the MadMatt 4-Wheel Drive journey. I'm MadMatt. Stay safe on the trails.